Great. So we should be live now. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. The session just before this one was about the EIC Accelerator and the 1 billion funding, 1 billion euro funding opportunity. So it's going to be hard to top, but we'll give it our best shot. We are here today to speak about secrets of successful startups. And with us, we have a panel that is 3 female founders. We will address that later as well. But without further ado, why won't we do a quick run around the table? So if you can please present yourself, that's a bit about you and about your companies, and maybe what stage are you at right now? Anybody wants to go first?
Okay, I will start. I'm Lilia Schwarzman. I'm founder and CEO of Wiz2Biz. I'm mother of 3 boys, and our AI platform predicts and influences customer behavior with personalized intervention strategies in order to increase engagement and reduce dropouts.
Nice. Thank you, Lilia. Tanya,
okay, I guess I'll go next. My name is Miriam Schwab. I'm originally from Canada. That's why I don't have sound Israeli, but I've been in Israel for about 26 years. I founded a startup called Stratic. I'm the co-founder and CEO. We convert WordPress websites to static and headless architecture in one click, making them exponentially faster, basically unhackable, and infinitely scalable. That's something that's generally quite complicated to achieve with WordPress and with building headless websites. Founded the company, we incorporated in 2018. We raised the seed round in 2019 with some investors like Excel, SignalFire, 10110. Eric Ries, the author of The Lean Startup, is one of our investors, as well as Automatic, the company behind WordPress. We're now a team of 22, mostly in Israel, with 4 people outside of Israel. And our customers include companies like Panairays, Payoneer, and the United Nations, Hebrew University, and some other notable brands. And we are, our products at maturity, and we're at go-to-market stage, and we're very excited about the future for Stratic and the Israeli ecosystem as well. So that's me.
Thanks, Maya.
My name is Tanya. I'm a mother of 2. I live in kibbutz near Gaza Strip. We love, all my family will love to travel in Israel, and of course to travel around the world. And my husband and me, we decided to combine our love for travel with our professional skills, and we developed an app for families to making families travel together in Israel and of course around the world. In technical entrepreneurs, so I keep a lot of. It's okay. It's enough.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Shortly about me, my name is Kobi. I'm a principal at LT Capital, venture fund here in Poland, Warsaw, where I'm based now. So we invest in seed and pre-seed companies. That's about it. It's a good time to mention to the audience that if you have any questions that you want to refer to the panel, just feel free to type them in the chat, and at the end we'll have time to present a few of them and answers as well. One thing I wanted to ask you, and this is to all of you, whoever wants to jump in and take this. What is it that you define so far because you're still in the middle of the way, as I see it, as your greatest success?
Okay, I will
Can
take
you?
this one.
Yeah, can you still hear me? I was just about to. Yeah, you jumped the gun. Okay.
Okay, so I think that one of the greatest success was when almost a year ago there were a first lockdown, and our main clients from the fitness and weight loss field, and we realized that they're going to close their doors and close their films because they weren't able, to transfer their offline activities to the online activities, and we just reinvented ourselves like from the beginning. It was like to set up the startup. Although we already had our platform, in a short, our platform prevents members from dropping out from the fitness and weight loss programs. It increased their engagement and satisfaction, and this has increased the revenues of these companies. And these companies just closed their doors and they couldn't operate. So in 3 weeks, we developed the ability for the online group activities inside the platform, together with all our algorithms of prediction and prevention and execution of all the retention strategies. And this helps them to reopen and to unfreeze their memberships. And it also helped us a lot with bringing in new clients, and also to be able to go to other sectors, also to the education and to not only fitness, weight loss, wellness, and health. And we got the situation when the companies came to us and asked for the platform. And it was really, really challenging because we worked very, very hard to develop it, but the results were very great. And this is also something that will provide them the ability now in this digital world to take it one step forward. And most of them already did it, and they're showing positive ROI and member satisfaction, and it makes all of our team be very proud and happy. And I think that this is one of the main successes which we had.
Thanks a lot, Lilia. Anybody wants to add something to that? Miriam, you had something to say?
Well, it's great to hear about Lilia's successes. I'm always happy to hear about other companies and how they're doing well. It's hard to define what is the greatest success, because where we're at is a culmination of a lot of bigger and smaller successes. So one of the biggest hurdles, I guess, for us was raising our funding at the biggest milestones, and also the thing that contributes the most to our ability to continue to build our products and achieve our goals. As a female founder, it can be quite challenging to raise funding, particularly with certain types of investors who are used to a particular type of founder who doesn't look like us. And so when we walk in the door, no matter how many boxes we check as founders, so for example, my background is very strong in the WordPress community. I had an agency for 14 years before founding Stradic. I know that world inside and out. I knew there was a need, an industry expert, etc. If you don't look a certain way, it can be challenging to raise funding. So in the end, we were very lucky to have a number of people who really believed in us and really helped us raise our round by introducing us to the top funds in Silicon Valley. And then we were able to fly out there, also very fortunate that we could do that, and work hard to close that round. And we did it quite successfully. But until that point, it was hard. And I saw, so when I first started working on Stradic, I joined a startup accelerator in Jerusalem, which is where we were based until COVID. Now we're fully remote. And the accelerator was very good at having a good representation of women and men. So I wasn't the only female founder there. And it was very exciting to see all of these very smart people in a diverse group who were planning on working on their dreams. And I saw years went on, how many of the female founders had to kind of drop their dreams because they couldn't raise funding. And that's very sad. And so when people say, where are the female founders? I say, where are the investors in the female founders? That's just one of the things, which we'll discuss later. But anyways, because of that, because it's particularly challenging when you don't fit the mold or the template of a founder, I'm very grateful that we were able to raise our funding round and raise it quite successfully with top investors in the world. Definitely was able to do that because of my partner, Josh Lawrence, who joined me early on and continues to play a huge role in everything, and we're co-founders, so we work together and everything. He definitely played a huge role in that, but not every, a lot of female founders really find it hard, and if they do raise funding, it's at lower amounts, at lower valuations, and it's very sad for me to see that. So I feel like that is a pretty big success for myself and for Stratic.
Okay, yeah, we'll get back to fundraising and what can be done to get more female founders. But meanwhile, Tanya, do you have anything from your side?
I just wanted to say that we started to work on our idea on last November. And we have a lot of plans, and I think because of COVID, we understand that anyone don't plan for a long time, because everyone know what's happened to travel industry, and our startup is from travel industry. And for me, the big success is that we continued to work on our startup. We think a lot what to do by another side, how to surround ourselves and our customers with new ideas. It was very hard on the COVID period, because everyone know no travel, no people, no families, and we continued and we're here. So it's I'm very proud of this.
Nice. Yeah, I hear that one of the lessons is maybe celebrate also like the small successes. So the fact that you continue to do and you continue to serve the clients and do what you as a company want and believe that you should be doing. So that's one point is worth taking, I think, from what you say. Moving on a bit, maybe along the same lines, can you share tips that you have for startups? Anything that you feel can be useful?
I think that one main tip is don't take no as an answer. It's very important in this journey, because we hear many times no from potential customers, from investors, from partnerships, from any side. And the issue is not to take no as an answer. And I can give a lot of examples when I got no first time and I got no second time, but then the third time it was yes, yes, yes. And it's very hard to get no. But the issue is to learn from the process, to understand what worked well and what we need to improve, and how to do the next step in the better way, or how, or actually which approach to take in this or that case. So just don't get no as an answer.
So I'll share next. So definitely no plays a big role in our journey. It's very easy for people to say no. It's almost the easiest thing. And it's harder for people to say yes, yes, that's a good idea. Yes, the world needs what you're building. Yes, you can do it. So I learned to not take no personally. but also to learn from it. So if someone's saying no, sometimes because they didn't totally understand what we're doing or something wasn't clear, and sometimes they actually have a good point, like, they have some idea that would turn the no into yes. So definitely listen to the no's, but not take them personally, and embrace the yeses. So along our journey, people would say, "Oh, that's silly" or whatever. But then there are people who are very smart and knew the industry, had a very strong, let's say, security perspective or whatever, and they were like, "Wow, that's an amazing idea," and that is like the world needs that. So then those I would embrace and hold very close as validation for what we're doing. It's important that the validation that a founder is looking for is objective. So it's not like every yes is great. Like there's a really good book, I think it's called Don't Ask Your Mom, which is about how to get good customer validation. And basically the idea is if you ask your mom if your idea is good, then she will say, yes, it's the best idea ever. But that's not helpful. So you need to not ask your friends and family and not ask leading questions. But when you are presenting it in the right format and people start saying yes, and even especially random people. So people on forums and community lists that I'm in that are in the industry, they started to share Stratic as a solution and be like, this is a great tool, look at what they're doing. Those are all validation points. And so those are motivating because the no's can really pull you down. It's really important to take the yeses and the real yeses and be like, yeah, okay, this person agrees and this person wants it and this person, et cetera, and it can help give you the motivation to keep going. So yeah, just building on what Lilia said, but I agree about not taking those, as an answer and keep pushing.
Yeah. From an investor's perspective, just to add before I hand it over to Tanya, it's hard also to be the one saying no. Yeah? At the end of the day, we see lots of companies, and we cannot invest in all. Yeah. So I think it was Ben Horowitz who once said that his day job is to poke holes in people's dream, right? Because 90% of the time he needs to tell them no and he needs to explain. However, we do try to provide some sort of feedback. And like you said, Miriam, I think sometimes it's valuable in industries that we really know well, and sometimes it's less useful. So this is from our point of view, yeah, to represent the investors here. Tanya, please go ahead. Sorry.
I think I will give a very banal tip, but it helped me a lot. Just to do something that you really love, because when you do something that you love, you will do it with a lot of passion. You will want to discover it every time, every day, everywhere. It will understand you. It will help you to understand your customers. You will understand what your customers want and what do they really need, and it will help you to serve your customers by the best side. So just do what you really want and what you really love. It's my tip.
Great, and that will help you to keep going when you hear no. Yeah, I guess that this is part of it. So it all comes together. Moving on, I want to speak with you about the Israeli ecosystem a bit. Just so happen to be that we all kind of define ourselves Israelis, right? Because Miriam, you said you are Canadian, but you consider yourself Israeli. What role
I am Israeli. So, yeah.
You are okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what role did the Israeli ecosystem play in the in your journey? Miriam, you mentioned that you started in Jerusalem and then eventually you raised funds in US. Maybe you can elaborate a bit about the role of the ecosystem.
Sure. I'm happy to. So from the start, as a person with like a dream or a vision, the Israeli ecosystem is very supportive. So there's a lot of different types of resources that founders can utilize to take the first steps when they have very few resources and it's maybe just them trying to push it forward. I also am a mom. What's wrong? Yeah, sure. Okay. The kids are off school. So there's a lot of resources, and I tell new founders that I really recommend that they join an accelerator from the start, because being an accelerator means that first of all, it's not just you. They give you a lot of access to people who are experts in various fields. So like if you want to build a business model, they'll pull in someone who's an expert on that. If you want to work on your brand and messaging, they'll pull in someone like that, and you get access. And I mean, the accelerators that I participated in, it ended up being 200 of them. They didn't take equity. There was like, one of them had like a tiny minimal cost per month, and all of this value. I don't know exactly how accelerators work outside of Israel, but that really allowed me to take the first steps, brainstorm with other people, and feel like I wasn't a team of one, but I was a team of, let's say, many to a certain extent. And then also they give you access to other resources. So for example, cloud. Once you're in an accelerator, that kind of validates you as a startup founder. And so then the cloud companies like AWS and Google and Azure, they offer you cloud credits, which is a great way to start building out your prototype and start, running different types of tests or environments without having to pay out of pocket in the beginning. So that's a tremendous value. And there's other types of resources that you can get in the beginning because you're part of the Israeli ecosystem, like related to accounting or legal services and things like that. And then in general, the Israeli ecosystem, the people in it are very generous in terms of sharing their knowledge. I have many times reached out to people who don't know me to say, I'd love to get your advice on X. And they're like, sure, here's my availabilities. And we set up a call, and they just share their knowledge with someone they don't even know, which is amazing. So, and that can often help you, prevent you from having to reinvent the wheel or like learn a whole new thing on your own. You can pick someone's brains, get their insights and experience, and then make a better decision. So all of that, I think, contributed a lot to helping us move forward, and other startups as well. Unfortunately, on the fundraising side, a founder like myself will very unlikely succeed in raising funding in Israel. So when it comes to that level, that's not like really a direction here, but it is thanks to Israelis that we got the connections to the funds. Well, semi-Israelis. We've got the connections to the funds in the Valley because they really believed in us and introduced us to everyone, and then we could just go out there and raise there. But all of that surrounding support is very strong, and I think there's truly a perspective here of rising tide raises all ships kind of thing, where it's not just about me being successful, it's about you being successful and you, and it creates a stronger ecosystem for everybody, and it's better for everyone. And I've really appreciated that, and I'm very grateful to everyone who has shared their knowledge and time with me and my team.
Great, good to hear. Miriam, Lilia, you want to add something on that?
Yeah, first of all, very agree with what Miriam said, and think that the ecosystem is amazing. As Miriam mentioned, from the people whom you don't know, and they are very happy to help and to assist through the accelerator, which I also did, the Hive accelerator. It was 4.5 years ago, and it was very, very helpful. And we did get the investment from Israeli angel investor. I was very lucky to meet Heli Maman, who is an owner and CEO of a leading weight loss company in Israel. And she's our angel investor and the best partner whom I even can think about. And then we also got a grant from Israel Innovation Authority. We did the Digital House program with them, and the grant was very, very helpful. We also got the grant from Ministry of Economy, also Israeli Ministry of Economy, and I think that this part was also very helpful for for the go-to-market to US. And I think that if we need to combine all these puzzles together, it's very helpful. It's something, I don't know how it works, in the United States and other countries, but here it's something very, very warmy, and everyone wants to help. And I'm always also feeling when someone asks for me for advice or anything, I feel like I'm giving back what I got from all this period, from these amazing people and people, organizations, etc. So I think that we are very lucky to be here and to be part of this ecosystem.
Yeah, I'll add maybe afterwards a word about how the local ecosystem here in Poland works as well, because I do see some similarities and I think it's heading the right direction. But Tanya, you have more to add?
I also, a short sentence. I agree with everything that both of you all said. I participated in Accelerator 2 1 year ago, and I will start another one in the next month. And I think it's helped to entrepreneur in the early stage to surround yourself in the local and the right people, right investors, right mentors. I think in Israel we have a very strong ecosystem. We have a lot of groups on Facebook, entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, startups for startups, support startups. And I also use all this platform like another woman's. If I have any question, I just go on Facebook. I find the right group. I just ask any question, and after 2 hours, I will receive a lot of answers from different people. From investors, from mentors, and it's very amazing. It's very support and helpful. So I'm happy to start up here, and it's
great. So it's nice to hear that you all got something out of the ecosystem, right? So from participation in accelerators to grants to introduction to
it's very strong.
Sorry, Tanya, I lost you for a second, so I hope I wasn't interrupting your last sentence here.
Excuse me? Can you repeat your question?
No, I just never mind. There was a slight delay, so but it's okay. It's okay now. I realized that the last sentence it's a very strong ecosystem, so it summarizes things. Good. So we have 10 more minutes to go. I would like to remind the audience that if you have any questions, now would be a good time to submit them using the chat. Other than that, there are 2 more things I would like to cover. Start with the one that I think can be more helpful or more important, which is I would like personally to see more female founders. What do you think can be done based on your experiences to assist you, to encourage that? Whoever wants to take this, and if not, I will choose in 3, 2, 1.
Right.
I think
You said me. I'm happy that I didn't have to do it.
Oh, sorry, Miriam, I didn't. Okay. So I think this question is the most challenging one, and probably it's something that needs to start from the education, from the small age. Like when I see that, like my son today is in 11th grade and he's in a computer science class, and there's still not enough diversity in these classes. And I think maybe to start from the encouraging of the girls from the little age, that they really can do anything they want to, and there is no limitation, and there is the challenges are the same. I think it's more about the self-esteem and the ability to know that we really can do it. So, and of course, the support from the family, from the friends, all what we was talking about, the ecosystem. Today in Israel, we have many women groups like Yazamiyot, WMN, and others. actually I started my way when like 5 years ago, I only had the idea, and I even didn't know what to do and how to do, how to establish startup. Like I used to work as a manager of the BI departments, and I knew how to manage and what's the information system, digital systems, and others. So I think that these communities very, very helping, and it's a combination of many aspects. And on the other hand, today there are so many, although we're still a little percent from the all startups, etc., but this is much more than it used to be.
Yeah, definitely. So there is improvement, but still a lot more room for more improvement. Yeah.
I'll just continue that train of thought. I totally agree that it's probably something that needs to start at a younger age. I have, well, I didn't mention how many kids I have, but I have 7, and 6 of them are girls.
We saw one.
So I have gotten, yeah, you saw one exactly, and so I've seen, yeah, that's my greatest success. um, so I've seen what it's like for them in school, at various stages, and they've been in different schools. And at one point, I got very upset with the high school system. My girls are in girls' schools, were religious, and I saw that in the girls' schools, they were not encouraging STEM types of majors. You major in Israel for the matriculation, more art and humanities, which is great. That's what someone should do if that's their direction and their talent. But there was very little room for STEM, and I saw in the boys' schools that there was more direction like that. But it's not just there. One of my daughters is now in it's called a mechina in Israel. It's something that a lot of kids do before they go to the army, and it's like there's a lot of leadership training there. And she's in a program that's boys and girls, and she told me that every time they are supposed to get up and present to the group, the girls don't. Out of the girls, 3 present, and all of the boys present. The girls are not being encouraged or not being told that their point of view matters, that they can say it without being embarrassed. And something's going on at the younger ages, which is not encouraging them not only to not pursue STEM or something like that, but also not to speak up, and not to be heard, which is important if you want to pursue an entrepreneurial direction in your life, or something like that, or a leadership direction. So I think that there's work that needs to be done in the earlier grades, maybe even from elementary school, definitely in high school. I try whenever I can. I participate in groups, like in different initiatives that encourage women entrepreneurship and leadership. So there's now a Jerusalem one. It's called FemTours. I'm a mentor for women who are in positions in tech companies to help them try to think about the next steps in their careers. I've mentored at Machon Tal, which is the Women's College for Religious Women with technical studies. They have a kind of accelerator program there, so I've mentored there, and I do my best, but like I feel like there's not even enough of those because the women there's not enough women at that stage. So I agree with Lilia that it's something that needs to be addressed at earlier ages, and then also at later stages, there needs to be greater awareness within companies about making sure that women are being heard. And there's different initiatives that can be done within companies to help promote women leadership. So yeah, there's a lot to do.
From an investor perspective, do you feel that there's enough attention, that investors are approachable when it comes to hearing female founders and
Yeah. Recently, I had a call. So after we announced our funding round, we announced it in TechCrunch, and so that kind of put us on the map. And since then, on an ongoing basis, investors reach out to us to connect with us before we raise our A round. They want to have that relationship so that we know who they are, which is a great position to be in. Most of them are not Israeli. Recently, I had a call with some Israeli investors that we hadn't met yet, and it was great. It was a very nice call. And at the end of the call, one of them said, "Look, before we get off, I just have to say, it's really impressive what you've accomplished. It's impressive that you're the CEO of a startup and a tech company because we almost never meet female founders." So on the one hand, okay, thank you. That's very nice of you to say that. On the other hand, why do you think that you're not meeting female founders? I saw in the accelerator that there were a lot of female founders that couldn't get in the door or couldn't be seen seriously by investors. So when I first started out, I thought, oh, look at this. Everyone was talking about Me Too and diversity. So I'm like, not only am I an industry expert, I'm also a woman, and everyone's talking about how they want to invest in women. So maybe it will be like even a little bit easier for me. Well, people talk the talk, but don't walk the walk. So no, I think there's actually a lot that needs to be done on the side of investors to encourage more women to reach out to them, to give them the meetings. Maybe it takes a little bit more effort, but to make sure they get the meetings and to try to look beyond the external. And even though, I'm not a guy who served in the 8200 unit and I'm not from Tel Aviv and I'm even not native Israeli, like look beyond that and think about whether this person can actually, do what they're planning on doing. I think there's work that needs to be done here, not only in Israel, in the States too. The investment rate in female founders in the States is also not amazing, but there's just many more funds there and a lot more funding to be given out, to be distributed. So I think a female founder has higher chances of raising there. It's great to hear that, Lilia, you were able to have some angel investors here. We do have some Israeli angel investors, but the vast majority of our funding did not come from here. So yeah, all around the world, there's work that needs to be done on this, on the investor side, in my opinion. And we need more female investors. I think that would change the situation too, female partners. So.
Thanks for sharing. It's a bit of a circle, right? Because then some of the investors that you see now is ex-entrepreneurs, and so one thing leads to another, right?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Tanya, just before we wrap up, anything you'd like to add on this?
I'm a mom too. I have only 2 girls, and I think that startups every startup starts from entrepreneur. But to be entrepreneur, it's more than only skills. It's a language. So I start to study my girls from the early from now. My bigger girl is only 7, but I start to talk to him about startups from this. I always say to him to my daughter to think different. To think different, to think outside the box, and I think that this way is just to start learning and studying startups in this. It's my point.
Okay, so from early stage, this is the main takeaway for that. Great. So I want to thank you all for participating, for contributing here and sharing your own personal stories of success and tips to that. Yeah. And so I see that we are right on time. So again, thank you very much for
Thank you,
coming
Kobi.
and for joining us.